Hello and welcome to Clay to Canopy, the show where I attempt to make just about everything from the ground up. Today I am going to be messing around with some fabric, and I'm going to be using my leftover sawdust from the furniture I've been making to dye some fabric that I can somehow incorporate into this environment that I've been working on. So that's my plan. Well, it's not really a plan, right? I'm just going to kind of wing it as usual, and let's see how this goes. All right, so let's go do this. So to start me off, the first thing I did was I took the leftover sawdust from the table and the chair, and I had them separated out into 5-gallon buckets. I was using mahogany for the table, then the chair was the fallen sweet gum tree. If you are new to my channel and you have no idea what I'm talking about, please check out the New England Sunporch playlist. There is an introduction to this environment that I'm working on, and basically what I'm doing is constructing an entire environment from the ground up. I left my sawdust soaking for about a week and a half out in the hot California sun. I did have some days where it was pushing almost 100 degrees, but relatively they were between the high 80s to 90s. And now transferred that sawdust into this pot that I am going to add some heat to. I am winging it. There's a lot of books out there you can get on vegetable dyeing. It's honestly every tree, every bit of sawdust, they all have their own characteristics. Which part of the tree that the sawdust is harvested from will give off different color as well. So there is no real rule book. I was in the process of writing one at one point in my life, but that was a project that got set aside. We won't go there. Anyway, so I have this stuff soaking. I'm gonna boil this sawdust that I have going for a good hour, and then it's gonna get set aside again to set up overnight. I'm gonna do that with the mahogany and with this sweet gum leftover sawdust. And then I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my fabric. I like to use unbleached muslin a lot of the times, but I do have some cotton canvas drop cloth. The thing you do wanna keep in mind, the heavier your fabric is, the more of the dye it's gonna absorb, so therefore the more dye stuff you will need. To scour my fabric, I like to use a mild dish detergent and some hot water, and I boil the fabric in that hot water with the dish detergent for a good half hour to 45 minutes. That leaches out any of the waxes or any of the finishes that the fabric was pre-treated with. After I do the scouring of the fabric, I will be treating my fabric with a Morton. If you are into vegetable dyeing or you want to explore vegetable dyeing more, I will throw some references in the description box of this video of some of the ones that I used when I was first starting out. If you are doing sawdust dyeing, it's experimental. I kind of only use those as sort of guidelines and then go from there. In this case, I will be using alumina acetate for my Morton, and I will be doing another half-hour soak of the Morton with the fabric so that it would be ready to go to receive the dye. Then tomorrow I will be able to go ahead and complete the dyeing session of the fabric. To dye the fabric, the first thing I did was strain off the excess sawdust. I then reheated the vat of dye, bringing it back to a boil. Once it was boiling, I added my fabric and gave it a 45-minute simmer, being sure to stir it every now and then so that my fabric didn't dye uneven. I then pulled the fabric out, gave it a quick rinse, and laid it out to dry in the sun. When you're using these natural dyes, allowing it to cure in the sun really sets the dye color in before doing a full washout. I finished off my wood dyes with the leftover vats of dye. I boiled them down to a heavy concentrate. I just took whatever was left in that giant vat, put them into some smaller pots, and spent a couple days boiling and boiling and boiling until I have a very dark pigment. Now what I'm gonna do with this dark pigment is use it as a direct dye. I am not sure quite yet what the fate of these pieces will be. I do know I need to do some pillows. I am going to be working on an activity chest next. The activity chest is going to require some dye, but it also is probably going to have some kind of footrest or cushion that the fabrics are going to become a part of. That being said, I went ahead and dyed some additional fabric using commercial dyes. There's something about the man-made versus nature that is really appealing to me. And a friend of mine gave me these. These are sacks. They were old burlap sacks. So I threw these in as well, along with some of this leftover canvas that I have. So thank you, Ashley, for the burlap. Those went in. I try to keep my same color scheme going on with the life cycle of a leaf. If you are at all familiar with the way things work in an artist's world, instead of me mixing up some isolated dyes, using my aniline dyes just for the activity chest, I went ahead and dyed the fabric first so I could use the exhausted dye. It may seem a little chaotic, but in the end, I'm sure it will all work itself out. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already, and I hope to see you soon.